Pie and a pint. Pie and a pint. Pie and a pint. Pie and a pint.
Welcome back to Pint Podcast. You definitely know us by now, and if you don't, what have you been doing for the past 6-7 weeks in lockdown? So, we are now going to be joined by Tommy Lee. I hope you enjoy this footage. So, thank you very much, Tommy, for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
No problem.
How are you doing?
Pleasure. I'm good, yeah, not bad. Ticking over.
So the first thing that I really wanted to touch on was, who was your sort of football hero growing up, and what sort of made you want to become a goalkeeper?
Without question, Peter Schmeichel. Man United fan. Started off playing outfield. My dad was actually manager of under 8s, under 9s teams that I played in. I used to play right back, centre midfield. Just used to fall out with my old man on the sidelines, and it got to a point where he said, right, you're going in net, because he were a keeper himself, so stuck me in net, and yeah, that were it really. Peter Schmeichel, and then getting that taste when I was young.
Decent. So I've actually got a question around Man United. So when you was there, you was part of the sort of Man United reserve team that won the sort of quadruple in 2005-2006 season. What was that like, coming through the youth setup at a team at the size of Man United and the people that you played with?
And one you supported as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I look back now, and it was, I took it for granted a little bit. I was probably a little bit overawed by the situation. When I think back now, got really defensive, a lot of good players around me. Going from being the best young keeper about in Keighley, in Bradford, and even with Man U, I played down in age, under 12s, under 13s, under 14s, and I genuinely believed by the time I was 19, I'd be playing for Man United. Genuinely believed it, and I got in the building and had a bit of a realisation that this is probably going to be harder than I think. And instead of seeing that as like a bit of an opportunity, I probably went the opposite way a little bit. But I can say that now, looking back. At the time, I wasn't aware. It's just, you're a kid, aren't you? But yeah, a little bit overawed. But on the flip side, it's Man United was, and I still think, best club in the world. And to get that opportunity and wear the kit, I remember the first time I put the kit on, it was like, wow, Man United, wearing the kit, playing games for Man U, brilliant.
Yeah. We spoke to Phil Tooley as well. His family's friends with my wife's family, and he said you were sharing digs with Gerard Pique. Did you see him as the Colossus World Cup Champions League winning centre half?
Do you know what? In a word, no. That'd be the honest answer. Listen, it was clear to see, even at 17, 18, 19, he had the lot. Not sure he fancied the English game as early in his career. We had discussions, and he used to ask me, Tommy, why do people always grab me and kick me? But listen, he was a top player, and he's gone on to prove that in his career. But yeah, the answer to that question would be a no.
Did he look like a werewolf even then, or did you see it growling?
Your words, Luke. He was still a big lad. I remember when he came around the digs with his mum, introduced himself to the family. He was going to be moving in with us, and I remember thinking, yeah, he's a big lad, him. And obviously, he's he'd be 6'4", 6'5". So that was my initial memory when he first come round. Like, yeah.
So from then, you did go to Macclesfield. I weren't going to ask this one, but because you've sort of said that you were sort of a little bit blinded by the sort of club structure of Man United, what was it like then, going from a club like that where it's got all the tech, all the facilities, then going to a club like Macclesfield where it probably didn't have the riches of Man United?
Yeah, it was hard. I remember going in, and we were training. There was having some dispute with the training ground at the time, and they weren't paying the bill, so we trained on a park. One day, we literally had to move dog shit off the pitch. Am I allowed to swear? I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Yeah. We had to move dog dirt off the pitch before we started training, and it was a bit of a culture shock. But I was probably more conditioned to it than some of the other lads, because my dad. I was around grassroots football. My dad played it, and I know what. I was aware of the league structure and the finances in the game. So it was a shock, but I was aware of it.
Yeah. Was that a move that sort of happened upon you? Because Macclesfield's quite local, isn't it, for Manchester?
Yeah, I think Sir Alex at the time was friends with Brian Horton, who was a manager at Macclesfield, and the opportunity came up, I think, in my final season at Man U, and that was always the plan to get out on loan, and I went there around Christmas time, I think it was, and I wasn't playing much reserve team football, so I needed games, and I managed to get a few there, which was, it's funny because you play reserve team football and you play with all these top players in training, and then you go to a club like Macclesfield and you play in Lincoln or you play in Oxford, and it's just a different world completely. Which is what, listen, I'm a massive advocate for getting young players out on loan as early as possible.
Yeah, I don't think anything can replicate that sort of proper league football, can it? As much as they do try to in the
players that go out on loan, they just always seem ahead of the curve, don't they, to the ones that just maybe get a few sub games, and then like I always go back. Well, I'm a Burnley fan, so every player we've had who's kind of broken through, apart from Dwight McNeil, actually. Bit of a hypocrite because I forgot about him. Every other player, they've had a decent loan spell out, then come back and they look like they've grown taller, stronger. It's made them. I always remember Jay Rodriguez went out to Sterling Albion. He literally looked a kid when he first broke through, and he came back from Scottish third division, and suddenly they were just ready for first team football. Yeah, just seems to be the making of it.
Yeah, and it's such a psychologically as well. It's totally different. I think, especially. I'm speaking from personal experience, but you see it now and again in players. You're getting a little bit of a bubble at an academy. You're treated like a first team player. Everything's done for you. Games don't mean anything, all right? To a certain extent they do, but it's about development and getting players through. And as soon as there's 3 points on the line and you're literally playing sometimes to pay the mortgage, some players will need the win bonus or they need their appearance money or whatnot. It's just a different beast. And I think if a player can go out there and not so much physically cope with it, because players grow and get stronger as they age, but I think psychologically, if you can send a player to a club like Macclesfield who was near the bottom or the alternative, I think in terms of development, I think it's massive.
Agreed.
So now moving towards Chesterfield, because me and Josh are sort of Chesterfield local lads anyway. So at Chesterfield, you spent sort of 9 amazing years winning 2 league titles on 2 different occasions, being named the PFA Team of the Year on both of the promotion campaigns as well. Also winning the JPT trophy with Chesterfield, which is an absolute achievement in itself. Is there a campaign that you sort of remember more fondly?
For different reasons, I enjoyed every season, really. Even the relegation seasons. It's I don't want to sound cliche, but it's especially when I've finished now, I look back and I just think, what a privilege that is to be able to play football for a living. Do you know what I mean? And all right, relegation's not good. Don't want them, but you're still playing football for a living. So I look back on all the seasons, but I think my favourites got to be the 2 league wins. Totally different, but same outcome, winning the league on the last day as well, winning the game. Yeah. We beat Gillingham the first time under John Sheridan, and then we beat Fleetwood under Paul Cook, and that was just top draw. Yeah, really good.
At home as well, weren't they? Both those last day wins in front of home fans.
Yeah, and I think that in a funny sort of way, I'm glad that we did sort of have a little hiccups along the way, that we didn't win the league.
Yeah,
3 games before. It always went to the last day, and promotion had been sealed, but you want to win the league. You know, you're playing in front of your own fans, full stadium, and we needed to win both games. But I think we could have probably lost both games and still won the league looking back now. But there's pressures there, and just a feeling of relief, and having my family there and my brothers and all the Chesterfield fans. You can't. Well, they're just memories I'll never forget.
Yeah. What's the emotions behind it? So when you hear that final whistle goes, and then you know you've won the league, what's sort of like running through your head at that moment?
First one's relief, just especially the games where we needed to win to seal promotion. It's just relief because it's been your focus all season. We're going to get promoted. We're going to get promoted. And you get closer and you get closer, and you don't want to mess it up. And when we played Burton away this season, we won the league under Paul Cook. It's relief, and then it's just happiness. You're just buzzing. You're buzzing for the lads, and you're buzzing for the fans. You're buzzing for yourself. You're buzzing for the promotion bonus. It's just it's just brilliant. It is just brilliant.
Yeah. The massive parties at the end with the team.
Yeah, the parties are all right as well. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. The long seasons, especially League Two and League One, when you're in every trophy. Including the JPT. So I think the season we won the league with Paul Cook, we played almost 60 games, and it's relentless. Saturday, Tuesday. So yeah, the parties at the end are definitely earned. That's for sure.
I remember I was at the JPT game, as I think most of the entire population of Chesterfield were. That was sort of a bonus that season. That was the season that you got relegated under John Sheridan. So it sort of just felt like a relief for all the fans to sort of have this distraction. And I don't know, did that feed into the players at all? Do you think that sort of get away from league? Let's put that to one side. And
I think probably, yeah. I think we were backs against the wall that season anyway in the league. We didn't get off to a great start, and we sort of rallied a little bit in the middle, and then last few games we did all right, but it wasn't enough. And I think it's exactly that, bit of a distraction. The JPT were a strange one, really, because we were all buzzing to win it. Unbelievable. 60-odd thousand, Wembley. In the build-up, it was all about Di Canio and Swindon, top of League Two. Unbelievable team, better than Chesterfield. And it was comfortable, really. But we couldn't really celebrate because we had Sheffield United then on the Wednesday. So the gaffer let us have a few beers on the coach on the way back. But then I think we're back training Monday. So I look back at it, I think, if we'd had a free week, that'd have been a good few days, I would have thought.
Yeah, it's strange. It's like the League Cup, isn't it? You think when sort of middle of the season, you can't really celebrate it. And then I suppose when the season ends, you look back and you think fondly, but it's not like, right, let's go and celebrate that. The moment's sort of past, hasn't it? Which is a bit of a... Yeah,
it's a strange one. Obviously, cup final should be at end of season, shouldn't they? I think we'd all agree on that one. But the JPTs, I loved it. I know, listen, it's not the same competition now. I think it's a bit of not shambles, but I think they've devalued it. But when we was in it, every game was a derby. So, because it was regional, we were playing Rotherham, we were playing Mansfield, Notts County. And all right, the crowds weren't as generally weren't as big as the league games, but I remember we played Mansfield at Field Mill in front of probably 5,000 or 6,000, and they felt like good games. And I watch it now, and it's a shame really because it has devalued it.
Just a weird decision they've made with that competition, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure that
I'm not sure. I'd like to hear your opinions on it, fellas, because I'm not. I know I understand why they've done it, but for the clubs to vote on it and just devalue it, it seems a strange decision.
I mean, it's always been a winnable cup competition for League One and League. Well, it ring fences, doesn't it? It's no Championship and Premier League, so it was an opportunity to get to a cup final like non-league have with the FA Trophy and the Vars, and just presumably for money, who knows? Thinking, it'll get more crowds if we have Man United under 23s and whoever else, but. Fans have voted with a fee. They need to walk it back and get it back to what it was, because, I mean, you see gates of like 200 and stuff, don't you? Now, if that, I remember there was one a year ago, like Port Vale against someone, and it was like 88 people.
Yeah. I think for the players as well, I think it's a bit of a degrading feeling thinking that, let's say the teams like Aston Villa or Man United or whoever's fielding an under 23 team, they're sort of like professional players. They're playing against like bullies, aren't they, really? Mm-hmm. I'm sure even in the under-23 teams, they're fielding like 17, 18-year-old lads. So it's just a bit unfair for the teams that, you know what I mean, that are always going to be towards that competition. The teams, like you said, like Swindon, who probably would get a good chance of winning it. So, Yeah, it's just
I agree with that 100%. I think to get to a League Two football club or a League One football club and be a professional footballer and earn a contract there is hard graft. Do you know what I mean? And it should be a privilege to play in that competition or to play in League One, to play in League Two. And these lads, listen, you can dress up how you want. Out of that 11 who are playing and 10 in the squad, you might get 3 or 4 who go on to have a career in the game. So listen, I'm not a football conservative by any stretch of the imagination, but I just think I think they've devalued that.
Yeah, it's a fair point that you make there. I never even thought of it that way. These kids playing for Newcastle or whoever else in that competition, it's probably 90% of them will be the biggest game they ever play in.
Yeah.
First round of the JPT or whatever the chuff it's called now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a reality situation, and I'm not sure how I'd have reacted. I probably wouldn't have been best pleased. And these teams, don't get me wrong, the beat league teams, of course they do, because they've got good players. Some of these Man City spend millions assembling their academy. So it's not unsurprising that they do get the odd win here and there, but I'm not sure if I'd played 500 games and up and down the leagues and done this, and then I'm having to turn out against the under-23 side. Not for me.
No.
It probably puts a bit of a friendly feel on it rather than actual cup competition.
Yeah.
No fans in there as well.
Probably also makes a few lower league veterans in the mid-30s think, I'm going to give some of these kids a right good snapping as well. I imagine.
In saying that, though, I see the value for Premier League clubs. I absolutely see that, getting those players that experience. I do see that side of it, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've already spoke about a couple of managers that you've played under, but who, in your opinion, is the best manager and why that you've played for?
It's a tough one. I love John Sheridan. I love Paul Cook, but Danny Wilson was top drawer, and I can probably find positives in pretty much every manager who managed me at Chesterfield. But I'd probably just go with Paul Cook. Just edges it, and that would be purely because he had a lot really. And his man management was top drawer, and I think what Shez and Paul Cook had in common was the recruitment was unbelievable. Signing players at the right time for the level, and just slotted in lovely both squads that they assembled. And I think the pair of them, good man managers, good tactically, know everything about the game, but recruitment, know how to get players into the club.
Yeah. You had some unbelievable players for League One. When you know, with no offence meant by that, you look at the careers some of them have gone on to have, like Sam Morsey, Derek, where we had at Burnley. I think, is he at Forest still? I think he went to Forest afterwards.
He's there, yeah.
Yeah. Craig Davis, he was involved, I think. I'm definitely missing a few.
Yeah.
Wally Banks, Jimmy Ryan.
Liam Cooper playing
Cooper. Yeah.
Liam Cooper. Yeah. I mean, we just got players in the club who you could just tell at the time. I mean, these lads aren't going to be here long, and he managed to keep them for 2-3 seasons. And it's a shame that we couldn't just keep it together for another season, because I think we would have probably ended up in the Championship.
Yeah.
Very close, weren't it? You had that. Was it back to back? So you went up, won the league under Paul Cook, and then straight on got to the playoffs. And I know a lot of Chesterfield fans sort of still, especially with the predicament now, sort of hark back to that team and see that as the. But can we just flick a switch and get that team back, please? Because it was an unbelievable team, and I don't follow Chesterfield sort of closely. I'm a Man United fan, but I've always been local to the area. And that is the most exciting Chesterfield team I've seen, closely followed by the league winning team under Sheridan. It really was like such a special time. And like you say, you look back now, and I don't think
we were a goal scorer away from going up that season.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that when Doyle went to Cardiff at Christmas, we didn't really replace him, and I think he was 25 goals before Christmas.
Yeah.
And and there were players out there. We probably could have got players in, and we played Preston in the playoffs. And the difference between the two sides was Beckford and Garner. That was the difference. And it showed. They beat us 1-0 in the first leg, and then second leg they beat us 3-0. And I think Beckford got an hat-trick, and that was the difference, unfortunately. And it's easy to look back in hindsight and say we should have signed in. But I do genuinely believe if we'd have signed 1-2 goal scorers, we'd have got promoted that season.
Yeah.
It's a shame that. You just think if you just, made that agreement with Owen Doyle, like we'll let you go in the summer, just give us this playoff campaign.
Yeah.
I remember as I say, as a Burnley fan, I'm no fan of Preston. My wife's a season ticket holder at Chesterfield. I was absolutely gutted when he lost that for every conceivable way. But Beckford, I think he were on a free as well. Like you could have potentially got him to replace.
Yeah.
Because Preston got him, and he scored a hat-trick in playoff final as well. I think.
Yeah.
London, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it
was. He scored from the halfway line against us in the second leg of the semis.
Yeah.
And that were it. They had Joe Garner, they had Beckford, and it was just. I remember Klukes, who was top player, as he's proven to go on to what he's done. He had a chance in the first 5 minutes, 1-on-1. I think he was playing up top. He could play anywhere, Klukes. He was good, but he wanted a striker. Yeah. And he had a chance 1-on-1 in the first minute of the second leg, and the keeper saved it. And you're just thinking, goal scorer pops that in, 1-1. There at home, fans are on the back, and you just never know. But that's probably I probably look back on that season and just it's probably what could have been. And I got injured in the first leg of the playoffs and missed the second leg, so that was hard as well when I look back on that. Probably the first time I'd cried for a long time. That I don't mind admitting it. I remember I went over on it and I felt a snap. Got it scanned. Couldn't put any weight through it, and the doctor says, you've torn your ligaments, you're going to be out for 6 weeks. And I rung my dad, and I just said, Dad, I'm not playing, and just started welling up a bit because it meant that much to us. I thought we had it in the bag, and that would have been a top achievement for that team.
It absolutely would have been, and not to take away from the achievement, that's the closest Chesterfield have ever got to Championship as far as I know, certainly in my lifetime. Fingers crossed they can get back there, because it's a sad state at the minute.
Yeah, it is. It's
not
good.
With Paul Cook, then obviously you mentioned how we can see how good he was for Chesterfield. Did you see that in him? Obviously he's gone on to become, I'd say, an established Championship manager now. Is he actually back in work?
I think he's unattached now. He left Wigan.
Obviously with the whole Wigan thing. But through no fault of his own. But did you foresee that from him after that season? He obviously went to Portsmouth, and I guess with the finances that they had, and he probably saw it as a better opportunity, I guess. But did you think he'd go on to become a Championship manager after Chesterfield?
Yeah, absolutely. You sort of get the sense. We did towards the end of that season. I think there was rumblings that there was. I don't think the gaffer was happy that he didn't get back to sign a striker, and I think that's his issue, because I think Paul Cook with a bit of money is dangerous. I think he's proven that. To keep Wigan in the Championship, unbelievable, really. And I don't think he'd be out of work long. And he just had that. Good managers are all different. The ones I've worked with, they've got different qualities, but he just had that knack of getting lads to play how he wanted them to play. Excellent man manager, and he had this habit of just persuading you he was right. So you'd go into his office, knock on his door with a bit of a grievance, and you'd come out thinking, yeah, he's right, I am in the wrong. And he just had that habit. I think that's really important for a manager. But not surprising at all. And like I say, I think he'll be back in work pretty soon.
Yeah. So what do you make of Chesterfield then at the current situation and where they are, and what do you think that they actually need to get back to being a football league team?
It's sad, yeah. It's sad. It's tough to watch at the minute. But it's been coming. I don't think anyone would deny that. Dare I say it, poorly run for a few years. Spent a lot of money on not very good players consistently, which is never good for a football club. And I suppose now the club just needs a bit of stability. Just even if it means staying in the National League for a season or 2 seasons, get a bit of stability. New ownership now, so hopefully that'll be a positive for the football club, and then just slowly build on it. Teams have done it. Mansfield have done it. Notts County have done it. Plenty of other teams have done it, but you just need to get that stability. I dread to think what would happen if the club went again.
Yeah, absolutely. But, right, we're going to move on to our Pro 5 questions, which is probably the best podcast questions that's actually around at the minute. So, go on, Josh. I'll let you run through that.
Yeah. So as well, Tommy, we've so it's 5 questions. We've not had anybody get 5 out of 5 yet, and we've added an incentive. So if the first person to get 5, the quiz is therefore named after them. From the chance here for the Tommy Lee Pro 5 quiz.
Immortalised. There we go.
And that's it. After that, that'll be what's your biggest achievement in football. It'll obviously be the quiz is named after. So, number 1, you made 446 senior appearances in your career. Which teammate made the most appearances alongside you? And I've got three options. So there's A, Drew Talbot, B, Jay O'Shea, or C, Jack Lester.
So I played in the same team as this player.
Yeah.
Got to be Drew Talbot.
Yes, 240 times.
Yeah.
What was it like to play with Drew?
Drew was top draw. He's one of them players. If someone asked you how did Drew play, and half the time you'd say, "Oh, I'm not sure," but because he just 8 out of 10 every week.
Yeah.
Never made a mistake, especially at right back. I used to love him at right back. Loved it because you knew when that ball was stuck, hung up towards the back stick, he'd be there to head it away, and very rarely got beat, even when he was playing against pace and stopped his crosses. Just a top player. Yeah.
Brilliant. Number 2, you made your Chesterfield League debut on August the 9th, 2008 in a 3-1 victory against who?
Oh, how can I forget Barnet?
Yes, correct. And Phil Tooley mentioned this as well. He said to ask you about the kit and concession.
Yeah, I bet he did. So we had a goalkeeper called Barry Roach. He was there the season before me. He's 6'6". I'm 6'1" with my heels on. So I've gone in first game of the season. The kit man Tomo's come to me. Tommy, a bit of a problem. So I'm like, go on, Tomo, because I've only got XXL goalkeeper kits. I went, all right, let's have a look at it. So he gave me this red keeper kit, and it just drowned me. The shorts were massive, socks were massive, shirt was massive. So I'm there, debut for the football club, and I'm thinking, I can't wear this. Like, I can't go out wearing this. So I've cut the sleeves off, and I looked terrible. I looked horrendous. Like, you look smart, you play smart, don't you? I wanted my kit medium, nice and tight, socks pulled up, and I looked like a kid. Just drowned me. Anyway, game gets going and I'm doing all right. Bit windy, Underhill, quite a small pitch. And they got a free kick on the halfway line after about 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, yeah, set a marker down here. They're going to lump it in the box. I'll play nice and high, nice and positive and come and catch it. So I'm probably about 10 yards out from goal, maybe a bit less. And the fellas just hit a big diag. And it just caught on the wind. And I think I've shouted keepers. And I'm thinking, no, that's going over my head, innit? So I've sort of like half gotten stopped, and I'm scrambling back towards the goal, and it's just hit the bar and gone in from the halfway line on my debut to make it 1-0 to them, looking like an under-12. So yeah, baptism of fire that. But we went on to win the game 3-1, and I was probably man of the match. So yeah, that'll do.
That's amazing. Next question. So you're 2 for 2, still on for the naming rights. Number 3, you received 2 red cards in your career, one in an FA Cup match in 2007, one in a League One match in 2014. Who were they against?
Chelsea, the first one. I think it was Shevchenko. Took it round me, down. No arguments for that one. He's bought it, but no arguments. And then the second, Sheffield United.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Evo gave me a short back pass, so I've come running out. Lads nipped it round me. I pulled my leg back. He's dived. Ball's gone out for a throw in. He kicked it that fine. I could see the ref running over, and you can tell when a ref, he just can't wait to get his card out. And I'm thinking, don't do it, ref. He's pulled the red, and I said, first thing I said to him, that'll get rescinded. He goes, no, it won't. I said, it will, because he's kicked it out of play. There's no way he's getting on the end of it. And I never touched him. And anyway, on the Monday, it got rescinded. So, moral victory on that one.
Yeah, he did 3-2. Was it on? I think it was on telly that game, so I think it was on Sky. I seem to remember, because he got sent off for Sheffield United as well. Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, obviously pre-red card, but what with that, like you say, obviously Shevchenko playing. I think Lampard scored hat-trick as well.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, it was a full house, and it was Mourinho was the manager at the time, and they played all the stars. I mean, the starting lineup was pretty much their first team, with one exception, and I was gutted about it. It was Peter Cech. Peter Cech got rested, and they played Carvalho, I think it was, who was a Portuguese fella. Yeah. No disrespect to Carvalho, but I'd rather have Peter Cech's shirt, to be honest. I think we won all at half time. We're bottom of the league, and they're champions of bottom of League Two, and they're champions of England, and we won all. John Murphy got equalised, I think, just before half time. I got sent off and didn't have a keeper on the bench, so that was it.
Who went in net after you'd gone then, Tommy?
Dave Morley, centre back. That killed me as well, because they gave him a 10 in the paper, didn't they, in net? So in the Sun or whatever it was, second half ratings, Dave Morley 10. So the lads just stuck it on there. Look, Dave Morley 10 in net.
Well, no wonder Frank got hat trick then. I didn't know he didn't say that in.
Yeah, he did get two of them past me, to be fair.
Petter's back in squad, isn't he now as well?
He is, yeah.
Out of retirement.
We're going, Petr.
Yeah.
Had a director of football for a year, and now he's having another stint at it.
Okay, why not?
Question 4. You played your last professional league game for Chesterfield on the 28th of October 2017 against who?
Carlisle United.
Correct. 4 out of 4. It's looking good. When you sponsor the quiz, you have to pay for Christmas due as well. I didn't mention that before.
We're locked down, aren't we? I'll just send some tins round for you.
Here we go then. Question 5 on the Pro 5 quiz. You played under 13 managers in your career, including caretakers. Can you name 5 of them? Not all of them.
Oh shit, that's a bit hard.
Yeah, I think I can. John Sheridan.
Yep.
Paul Cook.
2.
Danny Wilson.
3.
Gary Caldwell.
4.
And Dean Saunders.
5. Full house. 5 out of 5.
Is that it? The Tommy Lee quiz?
Tommy Lee quiz.
The Tommy Lee Pro 5 quiz from here on in.
Yeah. We'll get a plaque made and sent over.
We've got David Beckham on in 4 years. He'll have to enter on the Tommy Lee quiz.
Yeah. Got to say though, that was quite easy. I thought you tested me.
You should have seen some people we've had on, Tommy. They would have thought it was easy. We've had 2.
Who's been worse?
Ben Thornley.
Who's been worse?
No, Ben Thornley.
3.
Steve Baines. 2, I think. Steve Baines got 1. Gaz David got 2, 3.
Yeah.
But I didn't
put it that way.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
Right, so the last thing we've actually got for you, Tommy, Luke's a Burnley fan, I'm a Derby fan, and Josh is a Man United fan. One thing that we like to sort of finish off on is giving the weekend score predictions for each team.
Go on,
so, on Friday night, we've got Brighton versus Burnley. What do you think will be the score in that one?
Is that at Brighton?
At Brighton.
Do you know what? I'm going to go over 1-0 Burnley win, because my nephew is at the academy at Burnley and he loves them, so that's what I'll go with.
Good man.
Is he one to watch?
I think he is, yeah. He's a keeper. I mean, he's only under 10s at the minute, but it looks like he's got a bit, to be fair to him. So, yeah, one to watch. Charlie Lee.
Charlie Lee, that's it.
Remember
Luke, get it written down.
Yeah.
So on Saturday at 3, Derby versus Barnsley.
2-1 Derby.
So I like you, Tommy, because everyone else has absolutely slated me. Come on. And then Saturday at 12:30, Everton versus Man United. Big game.
Got to be a Man U win, hasn't it? 3-1 Man U.
Got more faith than me.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on United anyway?
Did they get beat tonight then?
Yeah, lost 2-1.
I thought they did.
Thoughts, Tommy, on United? Ollie in?
It's hard. It's hard at the minute because, I mean, you all know 1 week they're unbelievable, and then the week after, they've been consistent, aren't they? And I hope Solskjaer gets it right because, like every other Man United fan, I love him. So fingers crossed, but it's going to take time, innit? I think it took Klopp. What did it take Klopp 3 or 4 years to win his first Liverpool trophy?
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I know everyone keeps talking about it, but everyone's saying about Pochettino. Would you take Pochettino right now?
I wouldn't. No, I don't think I would. I'd give Solskjaer another season, this season and next, and see where we are there. I just think you need, if you back a manager, you've got to give him time. I know he's had money to spend and whatnot, but like I say, Klopp went through a lot of money and a few sides, and Liverpool got to where they wanted to be. And listen, Solskjaer and Klopp are different people, different managers, but I think time is something that is definitely undervalued in football, especially when it comes to management. Got to give time.
Yeah, I do think. I don't think they'll give him the time.
What about you, Josh?
I would love him to succeed.
No.
I don't think he's the right man, and I don't think they'll give him the time. I would love nothing more for us to get back to the top under Solskjaer, because you can tell he loves the club and that, but I don't know. I think some of his tactical decisions are a bit lacking. He seems to like the formations he's got, and I don't know. As I say, I would love it to happen, but I'm not sure if it will. And I think they'll get rid of him pretty soon. I think they'll start to feel a bit of pressure and try and deflect it away from themselves by bringing a shiny new manager in.
Yeah, I can see that point of view. I hope not, personally. We've been through plenty, haven't we, since main man left. So, yeah, I suppose if you chuck enough mud at some of it's going to stick in it. So if they go down that route, then yeah. So we just want to see Man United lifting trophies again, don't we? All of us.
All of us. So the last thing, actually, on Man United, we spoke about Pogba. Do you think would you get rid of him in the Man United team?
Personally, I wouldn't. Because I think he's better than what the alternative. But I mean, it's clear to see he ain't playing as well as he has done previously in his career. But I think a lot of the stuff with Pogba is sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, people have got these opinions of him, and it just sticks. I mean, the lad's a World Cup winner, and I think last season, statistically, or the season before, he had his best season ever in his career. Yeah, he hadn't performed for Man United. So I'd keep him. I'd definitely keep him. There are plenty of other players who I wouldn't keep, but I'd keep Pogba.
I think it's his style of play as well, isn't it? Like, I don't know, people for some reason don't seem to like it if you're posting on Instagram, or if you happen to smile that your child's walked for the first time after you lost 2-1 narrowly. It's a weird world with social media. And like, can't seem to have a life outside of football, which it's a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. People pay a lot of money to watch Man United or any football team, and you don't want to travel length and breadth of the country for your team to underperform, and then on your way home you look at your phone and so and so's out for a meal and saying how beautiful his wife is or whatever. I get that, and I think that's where I think that's where players need to be a bit more self-aware with the social media stuff. I see things quite regular where I think, what are you doing, mate? Like, what are you doing? You've just been beat, but you're saying you're happy to get on and get an assist. I mean, what's all that about? It baffles me. And I'm just glad I grew up when I did, because I idolised Peter Schmeichel. But I idolised him because all I knew of Peter Schmeichel was seeing him on Match at Day and seeing him on Man United videos making his saves. That's all Peter Schmeichel was to me. But now, you know everything about every player. Yeah. And that's just a massive turn off for me now. When I don't want to know Peter Schmeichel's political affiliations, or I don't want to know what he has for tea because he's my hero. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to see him eating fish fingers and chips. Like, social media for me, it's like, I'm not a massive fan of some of the stuff on there, but
doesn't it? It removes that mystique. What you were just saying there is so true. Like, you know, there's a couple, I won't name them, there's a couple of players I've met who, as a kid at Burnley, I thought, you know, even now in Prem, still my favourite players. And one of them I met, absolute ball bag. And I won't say it because I might get him on. But it just breaks that illusion. And I'm sure there's kids who probably think, you know, Jesse Lingard, etc. If it weren't for the social media, he might have an easier ride than he's getting. But at the end of the day, I won't say he's just a kid, because as we all know, he's actually 28. Everyone calls him a kid, but I think you're absolutely right, Josh. I think the social media accounts of some of them, for whatever reason, are a turn off for people, and they just make an idea in the head of what they're like as people based on a couple of snippets on TikTok or whatever. I'm too old to know what that is. But,
I've got no problem with social media and players using it, not at all. And my only gripe with that is sometimes when the team's lost and just have a few days off it, stay out of the way. No problem. I think it can be a great insight, but there's definitely something in that about never meeting your heroes. And like I say, I'm just happy I never had that when we were kids.
Well, we've met you, Tommy, and you are a lot of Chesterfield fans' hero, and I think they'd all be honoured to meet you. You've been a top man. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate that, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Tommy. Appreciate it, mate. Cheers, man.
Thanks, Tommy.
How good was that? Tommy Lee, what an absolute class act.
Yeah, great guy. Thanks again, Tommy, for your time.
Top man.
Let's get into our last week's predictions, because we are so bad at it. So, last week, Bournemouth versus Derby. Josh, I'm coming to you first, because that was fucking terrible. 6-0 you predicted for Bournemouth.
Yeah, did it not finish 6-0?
Not quite, it was 1-1.
It's not far off.
There were 2 goals.
Yeah, I keep thinking Derby are going to lose really heavy. And they don't. I don't know anything about the game. I didn't even know how it had finished. I still think every 1 week.
You've seen that Blackburn game once and you thought, yeah, they're going to get battered every week now.
That's it. Yeah.
Right, Luke. So for you, you had Derby to win 1-0. You were very optimistic.
Yeah. Why not? I thought you'd win.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah, they're not great. I had Derby to win 1-0 as well, but I won't
go into my tirade about Jason Tindall that I actually had to edit out of the last podcast, such was the velocity and veracity of what I said. But that's something that just sits on the cutting room floor, along with lots of other things that would invariably get me in legal trouble. But I will just say, I don't think he's a very capable manager.
Yeah, I don't actually know how they're doing in league. I'm sure they're top 10. They'll probably be up there playing with playoffs, but I can't see them doing too much else in league.
They are fourth.
Oh, fucking hell, they're doing all right then, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I thought they'd win 6-0. Always said Bournemouth are a great team, great young manager.
I'm more focused on bottom six at the minute with Derby, so I'm not even looking up that far. So, right, Luke, I'll stay with you. Burnley versus Chelsea. You had them to win 1-0.
Yeah. Chelsea, fair play. They absolutely battered us. No bollocks from me about, we played, it was unlucky. They performed really well.
Some very good German players in that team, isn't there? So,
well, there were one. Havertz was terrible yet again. It was absolutely. What is he? Isn't he meant to be an attacking midfielder? Why does he play like Chris Sedgwick?
Nobody knows who Chris Sedgwick is, mate.
Ex-Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Preston, defensive right winger. No. Anyway,
Big Sedge.
Yeah,
Sergio.
getting on one day. Good
Good
luck.
pod, isn't it?
Yeah, I did that out. Sorry, Sergio.
It doesn't impress me at all. 75 million now. Werner he did nothing all game, but took his goal really well. Really well. And yeah, they were just really good. Thiago Silva, magnificent. Rolling back the years at Chelsea, apart from that West Brom game. They impressed me, and I've been a very vocal critic of Chelsea. But I mean, they were playing us and were absolutely terrible. So I won't read too much into it.
Yeah, I had Chelsea to win 2-0 and got 2 points from that game. 1 goal out of getting all 5, but I just couldn't see Burnley winning that one, to be honest. I do think they'll turn it around maybe this week, but we'll get on to our score predictions for that. But Josh, you had 1-1 as you're taking a drink.
Yeah. I thought Burnley would do well, and Chelsea were pretty poor at Old Trafford. But I don't know, obviously set up wrong at Old Trafford or something. Thiago Silva were really good against us as well, which surprised me. I thought he'd get found out in the Premier League. But no, it wasn't 1-1. No points again for me.
Well, Peter Cech's coming out of retirement now, isn't he, for Chelsea? So
Anyone's better than Kepa.
That is it Mendy?
Yeah.
Net for him. Looks all right.
Yeah, he does.
Looks all right. Cat flying around.
Didn't have to do anything against us. I can't think of one shot. Well, Barnes should have scored after about 2 minutes. I don't know if you saw highlight. Different game if he does, maybe, but he didn't. So
yeah. Right, last game then. Man United versus Arsenal. We all said it was going to be pretty boring. Josh, you had Man United to win 2-0.
That's what happens, isn't it? If I predict us to win, we lose.
Every week.
Absolutely terrible. Completely and utterly outclassed by Arsenal, who I don't think are very good. Tactics were completely wrong. We played a diamond with Scott McTominay on right hand side of it. So bad. What Pogba were doing for the penalty, I don't know. I think he gifted them game because they weren't great. They deserved to win, and their sort of energy and stuff in midfield were really good. But I think that sort of gifted them the game. Just really bad. We're playing again tonight, right now, and it's still really, really bad. And it's like we've got a PE teacher in charge.
He said Denver Bar's come back to haunt him, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, when you leave all your defenders on edge of opposition's box, it's quite easy to score.
So, Luke, you've actually gone for Man United 1, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be a sort of rubbish top 6 draw, like you get all the time. I think it probably should have. Actually, I do think Arsenal probably deserved it. Thinking back, I think United. I'm trying to remember the moments in the game. There weren't really anything, were there? It was
Man United versus Arsenal, mate. It probably weren't many chances at all.
Pogba, I remember being particularly irritating. Various points. It's one of them players. Like he's in a decent position, just outside the box. Rather than like laying it off, getting it wide to put a crossing or something, he just insists on doing 2 step overs, then invariably losing the ball. He's just a muppet, isn't he? I'd hate him at Burnley. I would. I'd rather have DLC. I wouldn't. I just don't rate him. I think they need rid of him. And I don't get why they're not starting that Donny van der Beek. I think he looked quite good when he came on. I remember he got to the byline at one point and crossed one, if I remember right.
Yeah.
At least he's busy and he looks up for it. And he's probably like, hell, I'm at Old Trafford, I'm at Man United. I think Pogba just sees it for some reason. I don't know why. Thinks it's all a bit beneath him. So
I think that's always been the case though since he signed for him, isn't it? I don't think he's ever put that shirt on and thought, I'm going to die in that shirt for the team. You know what I mean? He's just walked around pitch so lazy.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, he weren't the problem specifically. He did stick out as something that I remembered from that match as being a bit irritating.
Mm. Yeah, I had the same as you. I had a draw, 1-1, and obviously 1-0 Arsenal. So we're all pretty shit. I only got 2 points that week. Everyone else, again, got 0. But yeah, we're bad at it, and it's quite funny. So we'll keep doing it. So this week's predictions: Luke, Brighton versus Burnley. I believe that's on Friday night.
Ooh.
I think it'll be a draw, which I'll be happy with because we've got a decent run of fixtures now. Well, we've got like 7 or 8 games with City in the middle of them. Apart from that, I mean, because I just write that off every year. But I think this is the start of that run where we need to start getting points. We've got Ben Mee fit, and Jack Cork potentially, but not for the Brighton game. Maybe just after. Brighton, I'll say 1-0.
So Ben Mee fit 4-0 Burnley, yeah. So 1-1. Right, I'm going to predict a 1-0 Brighton win for that one. I think Burnley's win will come at home. First win. No particular reason, but I think Mee will have potentially some good minutes under his game against Brighton, and then he'll shore up your defence, won't he? So, Josh, Brighton versus Burnley.
2-0 Brighton.
God, we all like Burnley or something.
I predicted well last couple of weeks and got nothing, so I'm going against what I normally do.
Going against the grain.
I'm not going against what I normally do with Derby, though.
Derby versus Barnsley then, Josh. I'll come straight to you.
Well, Barnsley. At home as well for Derby.
Yeah. Barnsley won the other night. I think it were, what were it? 2 or 3-0.
1-0 Derby.
1-0 Derby. Fucking hell, you all right?
This is where they get smashed 9-0.
Luke, what are you saying?
2-0 Derby.
2-0. Because Barnsley beat Watford 1-0, as I've just checked, against... They're decent, Watford.
You beat Norwich away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've only scored 3 kicks.
Got 2 free kicks.
Well, actually, that's a lie. Graham Shinnie. Shinnie Esther. Popping up. Very well known by Derby fans as Shinnie Esther.
Wow.
Okay, no.
Plays nothing like him, but Derby 2-0 against Barnsley. We're going to get a good win and we're going to start our run now. Very determined. Right, Luke, Everton, Man U.
Ooh. Well, Everton have just started to hit a sticky spot, haven't they?
Yeah.
1-0 Everton.
Josh.
Yeah, we struggle quite often at Goodison. I'll say 2-0 Everton, and I think this is when the pressure really starts on Ollie.
So what you actually mean is you hope you lose.
7-0.
Right. I'm torn on this one because I do think Everton will win. I said it last week when I said, I want Burnley to win, but Chelsea 2-0. But I'm going to go 1-0 Man United.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be, again, a scrappy 1-0 game for that one.
Right, that's it. That's the end of this week's Pint Podcast. Thank you all for watching again. You are definitely going to want to check out next week's. We've got an ex-England international, ex-Premier League legend, Warren Barton.
Was it be?
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Pie and a pint. Pie and a pint. Pie and a pint. Pie and a